Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Stars Through Numerology series. My name is Zara. I'm a holistic therapist. I do various modalities, including numerical psychology, and I am excited to introduce my colleague, Sorren Caryl, who is a well-being coach and who I'm proud to call one of my, well, not really students because I don't like that word much, but Sorren did numerical psychology workshop with me, and given her software, given her numbers, she's absolutely fantastic at decoding people through their numbers by watching different interviews of famous people. So she graciously agreed to join me in this series, and spoiler alert, she will be the main star. I'm just here to, really in the background, because her abilities to decode those interviews and find nuances are absolutely fantastic. So we really hope that you guys will enjoy it. And in the meantime, if you stumble upon something and you want us to dive into those interviews of particular stars that you're fascinated by, or want to share something, please make sure you do that in the comments. All right, so today in the first episode, we will be talking about Kate and Leo. So Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. We've decided to start with this fantastic couple, even though they are just very good friends. All right, my dear Sorren, over to you.
Okay, not making some news about romantically linking the two, but we know that Leonardo, who is born on the 11th of November, 1974, so he has a consciousness number of 2 and ambition number 7. And then Kate Winslet, born on 5th of October, 1975, so he has a consciousness 5 and ambition number 1. Now, they are good friends, but in case they are romantically involved, then it might not be a perfect match if they are not in their positive mindset, because Leo will be wanting attention and quality time, while Kate will prioritize her freedom. But since they're just good friends and appreciate their love for acting and dedication for their craft, they are good friends, and I can show where are they have similar qualities. And then this is highlighting Leo's consciousness number 2. So I'll start with him. He's very diligent and has an incredible desire to understand. Kate even described him as curious and intelligent, and both of them love to read books. They dive deep into their characters. So Leo is saying, I read books to understand the whole story and where the character is coming from, and not merely rely on the script and memorize the lines. And then Leo devotes his time studying his character for authenticity. So those are the two similarities. They love to read books and they really dive deep. And Leo is also fascinated in playing biopic or real people stories. It's not a surprise at all, because she's like a psychologist who likes to dig deep. He reads history to find interesting characters, some original and bizarre. These are all his words from interview, to understand people's motivations, choices, and emotions. He said, they puzzle me all the time, and I'm sure he's enjoying it, just like I'm enjoying discovering Leo at this time.
Exactly. So to add on, as number two, obviously, as a born psychologist, as a born diplomat, as someone who really is fascinated by his nature subconsciously, even without really understanding, he would find, this human stories interesting. And I agree with you. In one of the interview, he said that, writers are not able to describe some of the stories that these real people have gone through. So it makes a lot of sense. And to just just go back a little bit about the romantic involvement between 2 and 5, yes, it can be really disastrous because these are not exactly very friendly energies, so to speak. Because yes, 5, they are generally quite cold, they are more self-sufficient, and they definitely prioritize and value their freedom more than anything else, whereas 2 are this kind of a epitome of more feminine energy, irrespective if it's a man or a woman, so there could be a conflict. However, we need to note that Leo is not a regular 2 because he was born on the 11th, right?
Yes. And just to add before we move on, Leo also described that dealing with the character, it's like being an investigative journalist process or making a college thesis. Now, 2 are into diplomacy. So in interview, the interviewer asked Leo, there are very few great actors. Do you see yourself in that small elite group? And then he answered, because he's diplomatic and doesn't want to build up, and I'm the best. He said, I would never say something like that. And then the interviewer noticed as well that there are so many women in his life. And then he said, are you a nice boy? And then he answered again, am I a nice boy? I suppose that's subject to interpretation. So see, he doesn't fight with the interviewer, but he doesn't necessarily agree. He leaves the interpretation to the listener or people dealing with him.
Yes, and
And
it could also be identified in a sort as a manipulation, you know?
yes,
Diplomatic, however, we can say that he manipulated the interviewer and the listeners as well.
yes,
Right.
being charming.
Yes, because you know, as number 2, they are Don Juans, right? So
Yes, I have a comment on that. Coming right out. And but before I go to the Don Juan, to being ruled by Moon, he follows his intuition in choosing new projects to what he gravitates toward. He even described it as he is subconsciously, he knows the word subconscious, drawn to interesting characters. Now, should I jump to the Don Juan? It's a little bit not a priority, right? It's coming. Okay. Being born on the 11th, a double one, these people pursue what they want without any digression. The moment Leon knew he wanted to be an actor, he went for it. He prepares for the audition. He ensures that he stands out. And then C2 or the consciousness, 2 males know their way around women because they understand the psychology and can be dubbed as Don Juans. There was a running joke about his golden rule, wherein he's incapable of dating anyone above the age of 25. But this is a joke because he's been dating women above 25, but it's there. He was photographed with different girlfriends over the years. So he's really exuding the Don Juan personality or archetype.
for sure, he definitely knows what to tell to each lady to charm
Yes.
their way, for sure.
I'm not sure if it's correct, but one of the girlfriends said that unless he's really serious about me, then I wouldn't expect him to settle down because he is in that flow of different women. Now, talking about understanding what Leo needs to do, execute a good job, um, two needs to understand what they need to do. So, in the movie Killers of the Flower Moon, while promoting, Martin Scorsese was asked, so you have a shorthand with Robert De Niro. It's like you don't need to say the word, you just nod and you understand each other. So how are you with Leo? And then Martin says, it's if shorthand for Martin, it's longhand for Leo. It's like it will take us however long it takes to get it right. So Martin is very good in determining that Leo needs proper explanation. Otherwise, he won't be able to do the job. And he's willing to do that.
And that is also another quality of number two, right? Unless they know exactly what they need to do, unless they get to the bottom of the task, understand it fully, because understanding is so important, they will feel really uncomfortable. So yeah, we can say that this is how the quality manifests.
Yes. And then for an upgrade, at least there's an upgrade coming. So as a C2, he will become a consciousness one by showing leadership, initiative, idealism, and patronage. He shows loyalty to people he cares about. In his early 20s, he's seen out and about at night with the same group of people or old friends. He doesn't abandon, like, I'm famous now, so I will not take care of you. But that's not Leo. And then he also met Toby Maguire in a audition, and they become good friends. And then they promise to each, because being an actor is not always easy unless you've achieved what they've achieved. But when they were starting, they promised to each other that whenever we have a project, we'll make sure that we'll have each other's back, that you will have a part in my movie, you will have a part in my movie. So they take care of each other. And also working with Martin Scorsese again, they've worked 6 movies and 1 feature film. So it's like once he gravitates with people he can trust, they're like with him through and through, beginning to end. And Robert De Niro as well, who was his co-star in This Boy's Life, he was credited by Leo that he introduced him to Martin. So until now, he still acknowledged Robert as a good friend and a mentor. He did not mention mentor, but in a way that he learned so much from him to become a serious actor. Now, for upgrading as 3, showing purposefulness, knowledge, and care, he wants to make great movies. So even though that he is already getting accolades and box office success, he still study to make sure that he hone his craft as an actor. So he doesn't stop learning.
That could also be because obviously everything we're discussing here, there should have been a disclaimer at the beginning, right?
Yes.
These are all speculations and hypotheses based on the number, right? We don't know what is really happening in their head, in their soul. We can only potentially assume, but this could also be, I mean, the manifestation of his mission number 7, because they are perfectionists and they are geniuses, right? And also they are all about spiritual things rather than material. So this combination of 2 and 7, building and sustaining relationships, being loyal to people. This could
Yes.
be why he's so loyal to his original friends, those that he met in childhood, all those people that he worked with now, I don't know, over 30 years ago, or maybe even more, right? So this
Yes.
could be a combination. Just before I forget, a remark. Because he doesn't have 2, 5, and 8, all these numbers in his date of birth, which is the line of well-being and family success, right? Family happiness and well-being. This could be another reason why he's so not inclined to creating a family. By
Yes.
the way, I don't think I don't think I have met any of the clients with such a profound lack of this line. There is always something, either the 2 or the 5 or the 8, but not
Mhm.
having the entire line completely is something that I really don't recall encountering before. Yes.
Yes. In an interview, he said that of course he wants to get married, but reality speaks. He is not finding the right person, or not in the mindset of. Now, talking about his mission 7, uh, if I look at his film, by the time he turns 33 years old, where the mission is really activated, he created anything about talking about environment is not often taken seriously or prioritized by people in office, but he pushed on to give a voice to it. So he created, produced, co-written, and narrated The 11th Hour, a documentary film on the state of the natural environment. This is when he became 33 years old. So Leo mentioned that if he were not an actor, he'd probably a marine biologist and create and protect the ecosystem, which he described as fragile. So now he's into his mission that he has to create chaos that, wait, something has to change. We are not taking the environment seriously. So I can also see some credits that he did some films about environment, not just this 11th hour. And then sevens are also protected by angels. So I heard a
Yeah,
story
of
that
course is this number. Yeah.
everybody is, but maybe particularly for sevens, because uh, they are into chaos and destruction, which is necessary in people's lives as well to make a change. So he told the story that he is always in unlucky adventures. There was one time that he's doing a skydiving, and then the two parachute did not work. And then the person he's with, he said, "You'll probably break your leg." But he didn't. Yes, the parachute did not work, but he did not break his leg. And then on a flight going to Moscow, one of the engines was on fire. And then he was like panicking and hysterical in the flight, but everybody was calm. It's like, wait, did I die? Why isn't anyone reacting? And then, but despite the engine failure, the plane landed and no one was harmed. So protected by angels.
Yes, and
And
again, we can say that, in a negative mindset, mission number 7 manifests itself through chaos and distraction and misunderstanding for yourself, for people around. So potentially, and this is one of the transformative mission. So whenever you meet someone with mission number 7, they will transform you. Whether you want it or not, it's just either you will agree to be transformed by them or you won't agree, but you will still be transformed by them. So we can potentially again speculate and assume that all the women that he's been with, he's transforming them in a way, right? And he's transforming many people. He touched many people over the years through his performances, through his work.
yes. Mhm. And then he said that his actor heroes are James Dean and Marlon Brando. And they demonstrate talent, rebellion, or some kind of outlaw in them, an outsider quality. And then he shared that James Cagney in The Public Enemy threw all the rules out in the window. So just like his actor heroes, Leo considered himself to be a rogue. So he doesn't want to follow the what is said to be this is a path. So he will go against it just to prove that he can do it. And then it feels like a compliment. He hides from the paparazzi, but he also has a coy smile on his lips, like he likes the attention. So it's like, because as seven, they like to be admired, they like to be adored. And he said that I like James Dean because James Dean was one of the famous people in his time. And then in Leo's height of popularity, he was also called James Dean. So it's like he knows what he wants and he gets it. Good for him. So that's my Leo investigation.
Yes, and I would probably add that I suppose for him not getting an Oscar for so many years for all his outstanding performances probably was not very easy, right? Because they need that praisal, recognition, validation. Again, this is all happening in their subconscious mind, in their ego, without us really understanding, because this is how the program runs. So yeah, I was so relieved back in the day. I think it
Me
was
too.
10
When he
years
won.
ago, right? When he finally got it. Like I think everyone rooted for him because I don't really know anyone that doesn't like Leo DiCaprio, or at least doesn't acknowledge what a talented powerhouse he is. Okay.
Yes. Now we move to Kate. Kate as consciousness 5. So 5 has high communications and success. Uh, she is very eloquent speaker in interviews, and she described herself as very expressive. That's her own words as well. She can sell varying accent in her character. And even Saoirse Ronan complimented, she's so good at it. She can be English or American or some kind of a different American local accent. She can do it. And you forget her as Kate, but you really get entrenched in the character that she is playing. And she loves doing voiceover and narration projects like audiobooks for children. And she said it felt like reading a bedtime story for many children who might not have parents. She said that even if this project pays less, it doesn't contest how gratified she felt because five does is not after money. So it's like as long as I give my talent, she's happy. And it's communication, so she's really very good at it. Now, five loves freedom. In play, she said, in playing characters, you have the freedom. She shows complete freedom in expressing her characters, even showing her body to tell a better and hinged story or get into the truth. She thrives on having the freedom to try something new for a scene. When she talks about the movie Ammonite, she described her real life as very different because she's a super busy person, while her character Mary is very still and restrained. So she really feel the how different she is from the character because she likes to go out and this person is like contained in one area, and during that time women are not acknowledged as paleontologists, so she like okay, very restrained, and she likes taking roles that scares her, so that definitely scared her taking her freedom away. Using logic and common sense. In the Lee Miller movie, a true story of a war photographer in World War II, during the shoot, a crew member told her that she might want to sit in and suck up the tummy lump, but she ignored it to honor the realness of the story. She even commented it wasn't brave to have no makeup and show her wrinkles at 49 because she was telling a story. She doesn't hide because she says it's exhausting. For her, it's logical and common sense to portray the real woman. It's like, that's so nice to hear from her.
Yes, she's quite down to earth. And by the way, one of the qualities for consciousness number five, they are quite protective over their body. So they are not the ones that would go and do any, surgeries or put something in their body like Botox, fillers, and things like that, or even getting inked. So when I was reading about her, and she filed a few court cases against newspapers and media when they tried either to like retouch her, her images in Photoshop or talking about her diet. So it makes a lot of sense. And since she has double five in her matrix, so she has like the 100% of that energy. Of course, she's very articulated. And as you mentioned, she is down to earth. Yeah, she is really great.
And then five's crystal heart chakra is very fragile and can be easily broken, and they can be resentful or hold grudges. Now, her weight was criticized by her drama teacher at a young age, who said to her that she has to settle for the fat girl parts. It's so funny, right? Or it's not funny, how life turns out that she's very protected of her body, and then that's what people keep on hitting on. And then in her mind, I'll just show you, just quietly, a quiet determination to prove her wrong. And then during the height of Titanic, she said face to face to the media who ridiculed her weight again. I'll let them have it. I said, I hope this haunts you. So using the word this haunts you is like she is really angry. It was a great moment because it wasn't just for me. It was for all those people who were subjected to the level of harassment. It was horrific. It was really bad. And then when she was telling the story, reminiscing the past, she was really teary-eyed. So you know that she has a very soft heart. Now, Fortune will always be smiling on their face even after 36. They can always find ways to make money. Her dad was an actor, but he wasn't successful. So, but growing up from hand to mouth, she said, I don't need a lot of things to make me happy. But she was 22, only 22 when she filmed Titanic. That catapulted her into stardom, and she never stopped working as an actress. And now she's adding producer in her resume.
Another thing about her is that as consciousness number 5, we know that they are great at scaling, and they usually scale things that they focus on. Obviously, as an actor, she was scaling in her career, but also we know that she was married 3 times, which is quite common for number 5. Again, this is the combination of freedom on the one hand and multiplying things. She had a child in each of those marriages. So we can assume, God forbid, if she had the fourth marriage, if she was able to do it still, she would have probably had another child in that marriage as well. Again, this is a speculation, but we know that this is how number 5 behave. And by the way, another example would be, say, Donald Trump. Again, he had 3 marriages. He had kids in each of those marriages. So yeah, it's quite common.
Yes. And then upgrading to 4 for creativity and 6 for gathering. Uh, she loves cooking and sees that as a creation and appreciate family mealtime. So that's how I see the 4 and 6 for her. Now, when she going to the mission 1 of Kate, when she turned 33, she made the movie The Reader. And to date, that is still her only Oscar win. So it's like a testament that you're on the right track, you're in the right path, being an actor. And then as a 1, she is very determined. At a young age, she wants to be Mary in the nativity play. And she really determined that no one can play it best but her. Her father, who accompanied her to her first film audition, learned the lesson of having the attitude and believing that you're getting the part. So it's like at that early age, even before 33, activated as 1, there are already hints that she is on her way. Kate revealed she wanted to tell Lee's story because she didn't take no for an answer. By the way, Lee also has a consciousness 5, which wouldn't be a surprise that Kate will see herself in her, feisty. Lee gave voice to voiceless victims of conflicts, and Kate was reflecting on raising the voices of women. While researching Lee's point of view, Kate reflected for herself as well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't stand for that. So she can see the similarity. Now, as a 1, she's loyal and generous to people she works with. She gives genuine compliments and build people up. Like when they are in a round table of interview and one of her character or the director even couldn't express what they want to say, she will stop and help the person and then build him up. Like she will never leave anyone down, especially if they really show that they are good at what they do, but they cannot express it. And then as a leader, she took on leadership role as a first-time producer who started in 2015. She's 40 years old at that time. And then she said, it is an amazing feeling. I can't believe we don't have to keep making the movie. This is for the Lee as well. Like she wants the movie to keep going on just for her to lead because she has a say to everything, the music, the people they cast, how they act. So she likes the control of being a leader. Now, once are kings and queens. Idris Elba shared that before meeting Kate Winslet, he thought he came from acting royalty. Now, that's a nice thing to say. Kate wasn't, but she exudes the energy of being mission number 1. After working with Kate, Idris admitted his process improved from closely working with her, that Kate was willing to share her knowledge with him. And then this is just a funny thing that Kate was interviewed by chief foreign correspondent of the Sunday Times, Christina Lamb. And then Lamb said, normally I interview dictators and bad people, but today I'm delighted to be speaking to Kate Winslet about her role in her new film, Lee Miller. And then Kate playfully responded, I'm not a dictator or a bad person. So, but yes, she is not. So she's like demonstrating a healthy mission number one.
Yes, and that is one of the hardest missions to have for a lady, especially as we know it. But you are absolutely right. I loved how it manifests in her because she is a true leader, someone who brings the most out of people, someone who patronizes in a good way, not like patronizes, diminishing or undermining someone else's talent or authority. I loved how she mentioned that while she was working on the Lee movie, not only as a true leader, she had put together a team. She brought everyone, but she was also inspiring people to get out of their way to discover or to uncover, unleash more talent, right? She mentioned how one of her writers who never wrote a script before, she encouraged her to start doing it, and that's really fantastic. How when I was watching that interview about the movie,
Yes.
that's it's for sure. This is how it manifests, and we know there were so many different interviews when there was a very young interviewer who was very nervous, like a schoolgirl, a little girl, and the way she started calming her down with her sunny energy, because we know that there is sun behind mission number one. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's truly, this is a fantastic example of how mission number one in ladies, despite all its difficulty, can manifest in a positive, beautiful way. Of course, we don't know how she's around in the house. She probably
Yes.
may be quite, a tough cookie my way or
Yes.
highway kind of a way. But yeah,
Yes. And finally, a last note about Kate upgrading to generous force. She mentioned that I don't want to be needy because as for they help people. It's like they will give their last shirt, but that's how I see her, that she's also upgrading herself, not just as one, but upgraded to
yeah.
four.
Yeah. So she's doing it not as a mean boss, as a dictator that, listen, this is the strategy and you need to implement it. If you don't implement it, I'm going to cross you out of my list. I'm not going to talk to you ever again, because this is how they will act in their ego, in their subconscious mind. But she does it like lovingly, generously, without necessarily, pushing people for those strategies. And another thing that I noticed, she mentioned how she developed this, her in her own words, like little strategies to deal like with stresses before the auditions, or her little processes. And instead of saying processes, she used the exact word strategy, and I little strategies, and I found it really fascinating because yes,
Yes.
she is a true strategist of
Mm-mm.
mission number. Yes. Is there
So
anything
there,
else you've discovered that
that's
you
it.
would like to add?
That's it for me for Leo and Kate.
Well, thank you so much, Soren. This has been absolutely fascinating. Guys, if you are watching it, or you have just finished watching it, please feel free to share your feedback in the comments. Maybe you noticed something. Maybe you have consciousness number 5, 2, and missions 1 and 7, respectively, just like Kate and Leo. Maybe you want to share some stories of your life, and we hope to see you soon in our upcoming episodes for other well-known people we will be talking about. See you then. Thank you, guys.